Hi, this is MIcornus Phokane, the leader and the founder of the Young Men Empowerment Forum. And today, when I speak about some habits that are really underrated, that may that will make you successful. Those habits that are very much underrated, and most of the time we underrate these habits, but they're very key. They should be a priority in our lives, and they should be actually be catapulting us to the success that we need. And most of the time, we are actually not successful because we've underrated or undermined this type of habits. And we want to speak about those today. And tonight, we're going to start with part one of this great topic. And we want to speak about it for the next 4 or 5 days. And we believe that you'll learn out of this. The first habit that we underrate a lot in our lives is what we call balanced confidence. And balanced confidence is one of those habits that needs to really be taken seriously, that needs to be considered seriously. And we always ignore it, we underrate it as well. But it's a very, very key habit that is necessary. Now, this is the ability to know when to step back and when to really be involved as well. When we talk about balanced confidence, we talk about don't just always rush to show your confidence to people and find yourself engaging in topics that you don't need to be engaged in and being part of the discussions that you don't need to be in. And that's what we call balanced confidence, whereby you're confident enough, you know things, and you can actually share them with other people, but you must actually calculate spaces, because there are those spaces that are not yours. There are those places that you don't need to comment, even though you know. There are those places that you don't need to actually show up, in the sense of you are the one who can bring solutions in a place where they are not actually needing you. So this is very important, that you've got confidence, but please balance it. That confidence, be able to know when to step back, be able to know when to step forward and inside, and to be part of what is taking place. When you are able to balance that, to know when to step back and when not to step back, is very, very important. That becomes very, very important, because it's more valuable than always being certain about things. Now, another thing is that sometimes when you are overconfident and you don't balance your confidence, you are going to think that you know everything. And sometimes you expose yourself amongst people by actually responding to things that you have got no clue about. And I've seen many of us who are actually thinking that we know everything. And it's okay not to know everything in this life. It's definitely okay not to know everybody in life. It's definitely okay not to know everywhere in this life. But there are people that want to show up as if they know everything, they know everybody, and they know everywhere as well. And it's unnecessary, because then that confidence is not balanced. Now, when we speak about balanced confidence, we're speaking about a type of confidence that will make you know that here I must sit back, I must step back, here I must not comment, here I must not show up as if I know, because I must sit back and listen to others. Because there are times when you learn from others, when you've got what we call a balanced confidence habit, when you are sitting back and allowing others to speak, and as you do so, you're going to learn from those that know better than you know. Because sometimes we are not knowledgeable enough, but we are not aware. Because sometimes we are too arrogant and we are too confident to an extent that we think that we know everything. And I want to urge you as a young man to learn and say, I'm having confidence, but I must balance that confidence and make sure that I don't actually continue to step up even where I need to step back, even where I need to withdraw myself, even where I need to withdraw my knowledge and I need to withdraw my contribution. So they're not every place where they need your contribution. It's not every place, it's not everybody that needs you or input. So please step back sometimes. Don't give input where people don't say they need your input. And this is very important. And I always say this, that you don't need to solve problems of other people that they don't see that as problem. So can I say that again? You don't need to fix things that the owner doesn't see it as broken. Maybe the owner likes it the way it is. If it is broken to you, it may not be broken to the owner. So therefore, that's a balanced confidence when you say, I understand this thing looks broken to me, but it's not mine. The owner likes it the way it is. So therefore, I cannot actually impose myself and try to correct the things that I'm not requested to correct. And that's what you call balanced confidence. So you need to have that, but it's highly underrated because most of the time we want to get involved, we want to dirty our hands and help people even when they didn't say they need help from us. And that's very key as a young man to have that balanced confidence. The other thing that is very underrated as a habit, and that's very key for one to have, is what we call thoughtful silence. Now, thoughtful silence is one of those things that most of us ignore. Most of us look at this as underrated. We look at it as something that's not needed. But thoughtful silence is knowing when to stay quiet, knowing when to keep quiet. Because sometimes we're speaking and we're filling the gap with our talk. Sometimes some people are talking and pausing, and we want to fill that gap. And I know sometimes this type of a gap becomes very uncomfortable. And sometimes it happens more often when somebody has called you and given you a call. As you pick up the call, there are those people that would keep quiet and pause before they talk. And don't fill the gap by just speaking. Listen and wait for them. Let them, because they're the ones who called you, let them speak to you first. Let them tell you first, because when you start to jump in and start saying things, you may actually say wrong things. You may be able actually to destroy that person as well, because you have stepped in and said things that may not be appropriate because they are not in the right frame of mind for that which you are saying. So it's very important that you have what we call thoughtful silence. Now, thoughtful silence is knowing when to stay quiet. This is more powerful than feeling the silence. It's more also very important as well to know when to speak, when to contribute, and where your contribution will be valuable. Because there are places where you go and attend and you don't need to talk at all. You don't need to show off of who you are. Even though you are knowledgeable about the space where you've visited, it's very important sometimes to have what we call thoughtful silence and keep quiet. Let people continue with their own things. Let people continue with the way they're doing things, and don't interrupt them because you think that you know better. Thoughtful silence is actually enhancing what we call listening. Because appropriate and good listening is somebody who's able to have thoughtful silence and keep quiet where they're supposed to keep quiet and don't just speak. Because sometimes we speak and we close actually other people to speak that would have otherwise learned from them. And therefore we deny ourselves from learnings because we're speaking to close the gap. So please be aware of that as a young man, and please use this habit called thoughtful silence. I want to end up here today, your host, MIcornus Phokane. I'm the leader and the founder of Young Men Empowerment Forum. And this was part one, of course, of this great topic. And I hope that you've learned quite a bit out of this and you'll make use of this as you go forward. And the good Lord will bless you to do that. We want to invite you to our social media platforms. We've got a YouTube channel, is under Young Men Empowerment Forum. We want to urge you to subscribe to the YouTube channel. We want to increase the subscribership, and we want to also make sure that you click notification button so that you are notified when we post videos of this kind. We've got a lot of videos that were posted in the past that are in the YouTube channel, so please search that Young Men Empowerment Forum YouTube. You'll find it, and you'll find a lot of information that we have taught in that regard. Don't forget our TikTok account as well. It is actually being favored by our young audience, and we want to urge you to continue following us. Invite your young friends and join us on TikTok account as well. And the good Lord will bless you as you do that. And on the same note, we want to emphasize that our Facebook pages is Young Men Empowerment Forum, and my personal Facebook page is MIcornus Phokane as well. And please make sure that you do follow us on those pages. You like those pages as well. Make sure that you click notification buttons so that you may be reminded as well when we post a video next time of this. I want to invite you to say, please make sure that you follow us on these platforms. each and every day. And there are a lot of preachings and podcasts that we're putting in there. Some talks that will help you as a young man, teachings of leadership that you will actually shape up your life. But also what we want to urge you to do is to share these platforms with your loved ones. It could be your friends, your family, maybe even colleagues at work, that they may be helped as well through this platform. And may the good Lord bless you. Allow me to check out right here till we meet with part 2 of this great topic. Allow me to say cheers for now.